Hey everyone, we haven't been to the truck camp in about 3 months. Look at all this overgrowth and these super duper sharp blackberry bushes. We gotta cut a trail in there. Ow! All right, everyone, I'm gonna have to probably do some more trimming if we want to get to this firewood. There's a lot of very sharp blackberry and raspberry bushes in here. Now the raspberry, what would you say? Is this worse or better? They don't hurt, but they have these tiny, tiny little hairs that make you itch like crazy if you get it in your skin the right way. It's like the little thorns on a cactus. On the other hand, most of what I was just cutting is blackberry, and it has very aggressive thorns. They don't itch, but they hurt really bad at the moment. Like you just saw one get me. But we have just cut a beautiful trail in here. I'll crush this down with the dozens of trips I'll probably make back and forth in here today. I love how we're making it into like a little tunnel here. It's nice. I know someone's gonna complain about that tree touching the chimney. You know what? When we use that in the winter, because we're certainly not using it today, it's very hot. We'll sleep in here. I bet it's gonna bake today in the sun, but as soon as that sun goes down, we open up the windows in there, it's gonna feel nice. So I love how I camouflaged it. I wish I didn't clean it because it looks cooler where this is starting to come off. So let's get it open. And also, I didn't just cut this tray here. This part right here I cut 3 months ago, and because of the tree canopy, no sun getting in here, trails that are deep in the trees don't grow back in. So if I let a canopy on this whole trail grow, it's not gonna keep growing back in. And this was the driest summer they said on record the past 25 years since they've been doing the drought reports. We had a really, really bad one back in 2021. It was super dry, but this year's drier. The difference is this year's not that hot. Back in 2021, every single day was like 20 degrees above the average, and that killed a lot of forest. Despite it being super dry this year, nothing's really dying. Some of the trees, even in early September right now, are starting to turn bright. This year's foliage, I think, is going to be weeks and weeks ahead. Let's get it open, and I'll show you what I did in the back here in a moment. All right, we got it open. It's been 3 months, not a single mouse. Now, they'll come in a lot when it starts getting cold as they seek shelter. We'll probably get a bunch of them. But mothballs are a miracle product. Put these in your shed, you won't have a problem. Now, it comes in this plastic bag. They're not open yet, but when you open it, you see the bag inside there has like a net. You keep them in that to keep them contained. What they do is they slowly off-gas and they get smaller and smaller. The gas these produce is considered toxic in large amounts. You can throw these as intended, like in your dresser drawers to keep moths away. And small amounts like that when you open the drawers isn't going to hurt you. Now, going in here and breathing this in for a prolonged period of time is not good for you. This is not opened yet, so no need to worry about it. But the ones that are open like this, you can see are clearly slowly getting smaller as time goes on. We're going to simply toss those out the door. We're going to ventilate this place, and in a couple of hours, I'll have no problem hanging out in here. Just get all this stuff out of here. And if there's no mice in the traps, I don't think we'll have a problem upstairs. I have never had a single mouse in the upstairs here. Been using it a little bit as storage. Oh, there's that cooler. That would have been helpful today, because I brought a bunch of meat. But we'll start up a fire, and I don't think meat being out of the fridge for like 4 hours is really gonna matter as long as I cook it right away. Down here is not that bad. Up here is super hot. You see I got my cot, life jacket, I got a bunch of buckets and stuff. Speaking of life jackets, speaking of water, we gotta take a walk to the river and see how low it is. This is the lowest I've ever seen water levels this year. Kind of want to make it up to northern Maine again and see that abandoned railroad bridge that's out on one of the lakes. I got a few videos of that, but I want to see it this year. Hopefully that lake is very, very low. I won't make it out there until another month. I hope it's still dry to see that, but I also hope we get some rain. So I will sleep up here tonight, but not right now. I'm sweating. It's unbearably hot up here. Let's get some stuff. Oh, it wasn't locked. Let's get these open and start ventilating. Let's get the other side. And who wants to see me modify this a little? People keep saying I should put railings. I don't think it's necessary, but it might add some good looks to the place. So we're definitely not cooking in here today. It's very hot. We'll come back sometime in the middle of winter. Hopefully we get a lot of snow. But now that the mothballs are out, that I think that's all of them. So let it ventilate. Stay out of there for a couple hours. So back here is just my junk collection. Oh, the mouse drowned itself. I'm not going to show that up close, but the mouse didn't even get into the truck. You see? I'm going to put that upside down now. That's why you always see at my house I have like little ladders coming out of all the bowls. You might not think a little bit of water like that's hazardous, but that mouse couldn't get out of it. So I cut this little trail here behind the truck camp, and I cleared a little area back here with a brush hog. Well, it wasn't actually a brush hog. But back here, I took this tractor trailer rim that's got a few dents in it. Found that on one of the logging roads. I believe it was a logging road. It may have been just free on the side of the road with a bunch of stuff. But makes a great fire pit, a tractor trailer rim. We're gonna use this today. I brought a couple fire extinguishers. I gotta get them out of my truck. Just because, like I said, it's been a bit dry. But we're gonna have a little fire in here today, despite it being dry. We're just gonna be very careful. We're gonna have fire extinguishers. Got a couple seats here. Clearing this was crazy yesterday, just using that lawnmower. Who wants to see some footage at the end of this video of me sharpening its blades? Yeah, we gotta probably sharpen its blades after that. But that was crazy. I hit a bunch of rocks, mowing the road getting in here. And yeah, now we got a access that's not big enough for the truck to get back here, but a nice flat area. I could set up a tent when it's too hot to use the truck camp, but while still using the beautiful area. We got to take a walk down to the river before it gets dark. And I'm probably going to wait on the fire until it gets a little cooler in the evening, but I'll certainly collect some firewood. And as you can see, I was chainsawing a bunch back here. We can take some of that and split it, make some good firewood. I got to cook up a bunch of stuff. My grandfather might come out here, so I brought an excessive amount of steaks and sausages. If he doesn't come out, oh, I'm going to have to try to eat it all tonight. And the raccoons will be excited because I certainly won't eat it all tonight. But we'll see what happens. Safety first when it's dry out. So this is the griddle I brought out. It'll make some nice lines on the steak. The fire will sanitize that. That should fit on the side of this rim perfectly when we get it nice and hot. Brought some fire extinguishers just in case it tries to spread on the dry ground, but I'm gonna rake this up before I make a fire. And look, it is the first week of September and leaves are already falling and turning beautiful colors in a couple of areas. Yeah, that tree above me already has color and it lost most of its leaves in September. It's over a month early as far as falling. But if you've seen my videos earlier this year, I was talking about how spring came a month early. Our season just got thrown off this year. But these right here, I think, are losing their leaves because of drought, not because of daylight loss or anything else like that. But fire extinguishers. I get these things really cheap, recertified on eBay. The certification tag is typically good for 5 years. Most of these extinguishers I buy are from the 90s or even 80s. You just replace the gaskets, recharge them, make sure they work. Certified compartment that does that, certified department that does that, and you're good to go as far as the fire inspector. You can get them a quarter of the price refurbished, and the old ones are arguably better. This one over here was refurbished when I bought it. That tag obviously has now expired, but I don't really care. I bought this one because a couple reasons. It is very helpful, and it's just outright fun. So this one right here, you can fill it with water only. You can put RV antifreeze, which is safe for the environment so it doesn't freeze in your garage. You can add a little bit of dish soap, which makes it foamy. You can also use this for pest control. You could fill this with concentrate and water for pests, and you charge it up right here. You can use it as many times as you want at your house. It has the same valve stem as a car tire, so you can recharge it at home. I would literally pump this up to 100 PSI with a bicycle pump. You don't need a fancy compressor or anything. Hose is not even dry rotted. They may have replaced that, but I don't think so. This is from the 80s. And with this spout, it will shoot hundreds of feet up in the air at that PSI. Perfect for putting out a spot fire if a spark goes into a tree. Or, like I said, pest control. Yeah, if you have gypsy moths, or what I have actually personally used this for, tent caterpillar nest. It could be 100 feet in the tree. Fill this with chemicals and water, blast them out of the tree, and they're gone. We are gonna have a good barbecue tonight. I hope my grandfather shows up because I didn't get a guarantee from him. Look at his lighter. I thought that was cute, so I bought that. I'm actually gonna give him a call. I haven't heard from him for a few days, so not super confident that I'll have company out here today, but let's see. Before we have this fire, I gotta split some wood. If we get it burning hot enough, we might be able to throw a few holes in there. So back here, there is a lot of nice dry kindling. I'm just gonna grab a whole bunch of this super dry stuff, ball it up, fill the bottom of the fireplace with it. Then I'll put some of the stuff I'm gonna split up on top of that. All right, we got some good dry material, birch bark, little branches, bigger branches on top. Ooh, that was a good one. This is so dry, it feels like a sponge. Get some nice small pieces to start off with. Can we get one more out of that? Maybe. Is it gonna stand up? It's all right. Good enough. This might be a tough one. Nope. That first strike, it felt sticky in there. Now it's pretty hot out. I just want to cook some food. I'm not going to split a whole ton of firewood because we're not going to be out here all night. I also have to babysit this fire non-stop because it's dry out. Good enough. Let's light it up. Smoky. Woo. All right, everyone. It only took less than 5 minutes of burning for it to start burning clean. No more smoke. It's burning nice and hot. Let's let this settle down a bit. We'll put a few more big pieces to make some nice coals. Then we can start cooking. Probably get it to a good cooking fire, maybe an hour. We don't want any flame, just a lot of coals. And what we have in there is pretty much garbage, just kindling. We got to get some of the bigger pieces in there. Here's some decorations I brought with me today. It's getting to be that season, fall decorations. Tonight my rule is going to be no wood above the rim. I don't want anything possibly causing a fire. Thankfully this wood's dry and it's not going and throwing an ember over and dry stuff. So those things there, I'm going to use those in a backdrop in a couple of upcoming videos that I'm going to make over the next couple of days. Then all these decorations, I'm going to probably just leave them all on my grandfather's doorstep as a surprise. Things like that mum plant can deal with a bunch of freezes, so that'll last probably into November. The pumpkins, I guess it's whenever the squirrel decides to eat them. That's technically a gourd, the weird looking one. The squirrels didn't touch that. I had one last year. It dried out. It was light as a feather. Nothing ever ate it. But once I ripped it open and exposed that the seeds looked just like pumpkin seeds, then everyone ate it. So let's show you what I got tonight for dinner. Unfortunately, my grandfather didn't make it out here today, so I'll bring those over to his house sometime in the next week and try to have a barbecue over at his place sometime this week. That'll be fun. Now, today it's gotta be humid or something. Despite it being dry, it's only in the 70s for temperature, but it feels hot for some reason. Hot before I started this fire. I think it's humid. That's what I think is bugging me today. All right, I got my bag out of the truck. This is like it keeps things cold. They sell these at the grocery store checkout. It's a reusable bag for frozen food. Who else loves these? They only sell them certain times of the year, and I had to buy a couple boxes. I love them. I think they're delicious. So, got hot dog buns in here. I brought some wine because my grandfather always brings wine when he comes over to my place to eat, so I decided to get him some. And it's not super cold, but it's cold enough that it's sweating in the humid weather. I brought some sausages, more sausages. Got some steak. Looks like it might be slowly discoloring, but it's definitely still good. That's just because I haven't been home in probably a good 6 hours. Here's another one. And a bunch of water. What do you think? Am I going to be able to finish all the steak? I think I'll be able to eat a fair portion of it. What about these? Are these pre-cooked at all? They're fully cooked. So those might have a better chance of making it, and I'll eat them in the morning maybe. I might try to save those until the morning. All right, we're getting this grate nicely heated up now. Oh, I'm gonna be hurting tonight. This is a meat buffet. This is probably too much even for 2 people, but here we go, we're doing it. I'm gonna pre-cook basically everything here and I'll just snack on it tonight. I'll put it in the truck camp so the flies don't get to it. Once I pre-cook everything, those are already pre-cooked, but they gotta be crisped up a little bit. What I thought was cool is those ones, they were all individually packed where if you open 2, these are still sealed. That's kind of cool. They weren't all in there just smacked together. And I brought the buns. And like I said, it's been dry out. And when it's dry out, berry bushes aren't producing. That means animals are very, very hungry. Everyone in the woods is going to want some of this. I can't believe I didn't have bears in my trash can much this year, it being so dry. There's no berries. They're not producing much of anything. It's so dry. Maybe I guess they're able to get more fish since all the fish are being concentrated with all the low water levels. I don't know what it is, but let's see how this is doing. I didn't bring any seasoning, but a good steak doesn't need seasoning in my opinion. I only use seasoning on food that is like, that's bad. Okay, gotta flip them that way to get them more even. These ones I can probably just do by hand. Of course, the ones closer to the fire are gonna cook faster. That's why I'm gonna switch them up. Yummy. I just had to use that twig and I flung all the coals right underneath it so it'll cook faster. I'm gonna try to cook that, then I'm gonna try to cook that before it goes out. Evergreen doesn't produce good coals. It goes down pretty fast. If that was hardwood, like the maple trees we have around here, now that'd be a different story. That'd stay hot all night. Like this is gonna be probably cold to the touch in a couple hours. This goes out fast. Everything's cooking really nice. I like my sausages to be a good amount crispy, so I'll leave those on for a while until they start splitting open. But that slow cook will be nice. And these, I flipped them before they were ready to try to lock in some more of the juices. And I think this is now cool enough to start munching. One good thing about the dry weather, there's no mosquitoes anywhere. I wonder if we have any paper towels here. But look at that, yummy, yummy. And I can't believe it. Not a single fly is bothering me today. I'll let those cool, eat a couple of them like a hot dog. Then we're gonna put the rest of these away. I think I got sandwich bags. I'm gonna put these in sandwich bags when they get cool. Throw them in that to try to preserve it a little bit. And we'll eat the rest of this by the time I leave in the morning. It'll work out. It's a lot of food. I just had 2 steaks. Now I gotta have another 2. And I got a lot of them. It's gonna be a delicious night, and this is just about out. That'll probably be cold in about an hour. We'll just let that burn out. Let's get back to the truck. It's been a while. I wonder if there's any paper towels. I probably wouldn't have left that in here with mice. With the potential of mice. Oh, wow. It looks like I did. Look at this. No mice in the traps. But something. Look, look, look. Mice are getting smarter. There's poops. And this paper towel is torn to shreds. So yeah, mice have been in here. It did have pepper. I guess I could have seasoned the steaks with that. So they have been in here. Okay, I see a problem going on. There's no peanut butter in these. I gotta come back here with peanut butter. Here's one that's closed. That one's got peanut butter in it though. Moldy, that won't attract a mice. That's got a little. Moldy. All these have to be taken with me. Cleaned, sterilized. You can't put peanut butter over that. The mold will spread to it in a couple days. Oh, there is another bag of these. That's why it's still kind of stinky in here. But yeah, it really did clear out for the most part. Oh my gosh, what is this? What is that? It smells like mothballs. I don't know what that is. I guess there has been a few menaces in here. Well, I got some cleaning to do. What is this now? Oh, that's the little granules. See those little crystals? How they're shining and shimmering? That is from those. That's the pieces of it that were able to fit through. So that basically dissolves into a gas. We'll sweep that out the door. We'll take care of this. But now, no paper towels. Nothing I want to use anyways. I gotta do some cleaning in here. I didn't bring the power bank today. See, usually I put a power bank over in this corner with a wire going out to a possible solar panel. I actually recently got a really big power bank made by EcoFlow. And that thing would be able to run these lights for like a week or 2. Or if you had a microwave and a mini fridge, probably a week. I've thought about that. This would make a good area for things like that. Mini fridge down there, microwave up top, run it off an EcoFlow solar system. Be able to live out here indefinitely with that sort of setup. Pretty cool. But at the moment, it's still miserable in here. It's so hot. But once the sun goes down, we'll be good. You know what they say, when you eat fast, you can eat a lot. But because I took a break, my brain got the signal that I'm full, so I can't eat more of this right now. But I am gonna take one of these. That's still pretty hot. I'm still letting that cool. But in the meantime, when I went to get the bags, I did have a roll of paper towels in the truck. So let's clean this up while it's still hot enough to burn papers and junk. This will help out a little bit next time. Next time I won't have to clean it as good. But this thing seriously needs a metal brush against it right now. Pretty dirty. Still too hot to touch, but the fire's just about out. Let's bag it up for later. I'm gonna leave the bag open until they cool because they're still kinda hot. And I'll leave that one open too, because those are both really hot. Delicious. All right, I got just about everything cleaned up, and you know what I haven't done yet? Gone to look at the stream. And then we're gonna go take that 20-minute walk to the river down the road. I wanna see what their levels are like, because this is supposedly the driest it has ever been in this area since they've been keeping records of that stuff. See, there's still a few embers in here, so I'm not gonna go too far until it's completely out. But we can go look at the little stream. It's only like a 5-minute walk away right now. Over here is super duper crunchy. Do you think that's from maybe the raven? Super crunchy. Down here where it's usually marsh, even the ferns are starting to die out earlier than they usually would. Here's the little creek bed. Well, at least we know these trees here aren't struggling. We can see the water table. Oh, the stream is actually flowing. I expected this to be completely halted. Look at that. Tiny, tiny little trickle. Look how small that is. Look at that. It's flowing. It's not much, but it's flowing. I thought it would be completely dried up. Look at that teeny little flow. Now, for the record, that is the lowest I've ever seen this, but I thought it was going to be dried up. I guess I better get to cleaning up in here while I'm waiting for the fireplace. There is signs in here that mice have been scurrying about. I don't have a dustpan or a vacuum, so that mess right there is gonna have to stay. As far as back here, they didn't make much of a mess. Looked like they may have ate a beetle. Surprised they didn't try to chew into the pepper. Got this garbage here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring a little dustpan. I'm not using the table or cooking anything in here this time, so that'll have to wait until we come here in the winter. The smell of mothballs isn't that bad, especially upstairs where I don't use the mothballs. There's no sign of the mice up here. I don't see any poops along the floor. Or do I? What's that? Nope, I guess not. I guess it's good enough in here to go get my bedding. What do you think of that? Nice bedside shelves, found them free on the side of the road. I also found this bin down here free on the side of the road. It's for a forklift to pick up. That'll make a great fire box. When we use that up, next time we're using the wood stove, it's going there, that nice bin. It'll keep us a little bit more organized. All right, it's completely out. We can walk to the river now. That's just steam you're seeing. Walk to the river. I just walked to the little stream and stole that puddle with the metal pot I had in the truck, and we doused it because I don't want to wait. We're running out of daylight. Alrighty. Well, I hear water, so the river can't be as dried up as I thought it would have been. Let's go have a look at it. There's a decent trail going down here. If anyone remembers, I went down the same exact spot in the winter when the snow was like 3+ feet deep. And this was so slippery and dangerous. Now, feels so easy following down this trail other people, maybe animals made. Now this part here is a little steep, but not that bad. Water is low, but I thought it would have been way lower. Compared to the winter time, it's definitely low. In the winter I was showing, it froze across up here. Then the water dropped and there was like a cavity you could look underneath. But the water here is crystal clear and beautiful looking. Check it out. It's so low. Let's go for a walk. We got 2 hours a day out, but that is freezing cold. Most of that's coming out of the ground. Spring water, basically. I don't even have the big high boots on, but I can pretty confidently step across this. Something I usually can't cross with regular boots. This is the lowest I've ever seen the river, though. This is amazing. And the forest doesn't look like it's dying anywhere. Might be the driest year on record, but it hasn't been hot. Look at this flat rock. That is awesome. I would love to come back here and set up my one-man tent on here. I have a one-man tent that would literally fit here. That would be awesome. There's another cool looking rock up here. And sometimes island. I don't know if the water's flowing through there right now. We're gonna go ahead and find out. Gotta be careful here. Could be slippery. I like that big flat rock over there. So this river on the river gauge is usually, in the summertime, going to be running at about 2.4 feet. Today this river is running at less than 1 foot on the river gauge. That's a cool rock. Wow. Look at those streaks across that. That's a cool one. Yep, it's trickling over there, so this is still an island. That flat rock back there will be kept in mind for a potential sleepover. There's no rain in the forecast, so got a while to think about that. When waterways are low like this, I just love walking and walking. You can find some pretty cool rocks. Look at the mica on these. Look at it shine. That is one beautiful rock. Those are the sort of rocks, if you put them in your garden on a sunny day, you'd see them shimmering across the yard. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful rocks. Look at that. Look at that shine. Wow. The mica's nice. Usually on a normal year where I'm walking would be flowing water. Pretty cool. Fall colors coming early. There's a lot of mica rocks in here. Well, I'm just gonna hang out here for a bit and keep on walking. Ooh, that scared me for a minute. I thought that log in there was a fox. It's starting to get dark a lot earlier now this time of year. But it's finally time to go to sleep. Because I was gone for a while, I locked it back up. I just had a freezing cold, refreshing soak in the river. I felt really dirty today. Went ahead and washed my hair out. I didn't use soap or anything. I could have brought the Dawn dish soap over there on the table, but felt good jumping in the shower. Now it's time to get some sleep. I'm very tired. These are just wooden crates, but they work great as a shelf right next to my bed. Really like that. Now it's time to get some sleep. Good night, everyone. Good, very early morning, everyone. I got about 5 hours of sleep, almost 5 hours of sleep. It is now 3 in the morning. This time of year, I probably got at least 3 more hours until the sun comes up. But I'm not going to bed. I'm gonna pack the truck up, and I absolutely love driving and watching the sun come up. I love being up early. This might be an opportunity to reset my schedule. Plus, I got a busy day. I did a lot of trimming around here, and I gotta do a lot of maintenance on the lawnmower when I get home. So I'm gonna end the video here, and you can watch the extras. I'm gonna show you how I sharpen lawnmower blades. Maybe I'll decide to do other maintenances and show them, or I'll probably do that on my vlog channel. I have one day every year I do oil changes on all the machines, or some machines I do every other year if I barely even use them, or if I'm only starting them to make sure they work, like generators. Yeah, the big diesel generator, I thought about doing a summer version. We did the space heater camp. We had like 8 space heaters running on this big diesel generator, because for the health of a diesel generator, you have to max out its load sometimes. It helps it burn cleaner. If you're only using a small portion of what it's capable of, it'll carbon up the engine and ruin it. So we had to do a load test. Some people told me I should do a summer version on the hottest day possible. Come here with like 20 portable air conditioners. Well, that's an exaggeration. I'd probably need like 8 of them also. But the difference is a space heater is like $30. An air conditioner is like $300 at least. That'd be very expensive to do and not very feasible. So we're not going to do that, but I will maybe do a video maintaining the generator. I'm not going to change its oil again. It's only got like 20 hours since the last oil change. But we'll do it next year, despite if we use it or not. I do them every other year. But just make sure it works in case of an emergency. over one. Now that I'm home, I thought I should do this dirty job right now. So I got my sockets in here. We're gonna find the one we need. We're going underneath the mower, and we are gonna remove all 3 of its blades and sharpen them. Can't believe I didn't bend a single one. I was running over literal trees and hit like 100 rocks. Now, if I found a blade with a piece missing, I'd have to replace it because it'd be off balance, but these held up awesome. All right, so they're in great shape actually. They're dull, but they were still cutting perfect, and it wasn't even on the fastest RPM, but I know it'll cut a lot better if I sharpen them. I just gotta make sure you sharpen them evenly so it doesn't become off balance. Just gonna use the angle grinder. Sharpen that up. We'll be good to go. Someday when I do eventually replace these, I'm not going to replace them now because they're not even worn out yet. The machine only has 29 hours. I want to get the ones with the slits, mulching blades, that might work even better for running over bushes. That's why I got the beefed up machine. It's tougher than the ones they sell at the Home Depot. Got this one from the John Deere dealer, and they're right. It runs over berry bushes, all kinds of things very, very easily. Grinder, it's really nasty stuff. You don't want to breathe it in. You're gonna have to take a shower when you're done with something like this. Also remember, hearing protection is very important. I was taught that lesson years ago. I ripped up a ceramic tile floor with no hearing protection. I had ringing in my ears for about a year. I am very lucky to have had the tinnitus go away. A lot of people will have it permanent forever. Ooh, that was sweaty. While I got the grinder out, I'm gonna probably sharpen my push mower blades also. That was $10 at Harbor Freight when I was 12 years old, and it has never broken down. I have used that for countless jobs. It's awesome. So you don't want them too sharp, because then it'll chip when you hit the smallest thing. You want them to be sort of sharp, but not razor sharp. You want to cut them as even as possible. And you see there's a few nicks in there. That's from like when I hit a rock. I'm not going to try to grind that completely out because it might make it off balance. That's not going to hurt anything. That's going to be 100 times better when I actually go ahead and use this. And people are going to say I abuse my machine by running it over bushes. I absolutely do, and it works great at that. That's why I bought it. Because sometimes if I don't mow my lawn for a month because I'm away working, I'll come back to a hayfield and push mower wasn't feasible. This thing can run over grass that's over the hood without stalling. It only stalls on trees and stuff. It did not come with that bumper. I added that so it pushes things over instead of scratching it up. But I didn't buy this thing to just store it in the garage. It's meant to get dirty. It's meant to get scratched. All right, all the blades are on. I found these ramps free on the side of the road in Massachusetts years ago, and they've been nothing but helpful. If I pull one of my cars up onto this, I will obviously not put it on gravel like this. I will go ahead and put it on sheets of plywood at least first. And also angle grinding, if you have a driveway or cement, don't do it on that. All the shavings are gonna rust. It's gonna make a huge mess after the first rainstorm. So, it's ready to take it down. Let's go get the push mower, do that while we're at it. All right, I got the small mower out. And we sharpened that up really nice. That was also super duper dull. This one was actually giving me problems cutting because its RPM is nowhere as fast as the big one. Always disconnect your spark plug when working on this kind of mower, especially if you're not using an impact. The impact will take this thing on and off, no problem. Without an impact, if you're using a wrench, you're gonna have to get a wooden wedge or something to jam the blade, or it's just gonna be spinning freely. But this helps out a lot using an impact. This is the first time I've ever actually used an impact for this. The big machine did not need a scraping. Amazingly, it was perfectly clean. Probably because it's been dry out lately and I was mulching trees. This one, I should scrape the bottom so it doesn't rust out. And that should do it. It's nice to keep this machine going because this was actually purchased by my great-grandmother back in, I think, 2006 or something, like the year before she died. And I eventually ended up with it. We do an oil change on it every year, sometimes every other year, because we only use this probably a couple hours a year just for edging, anywhere the big mower can't fit. And this one, I wouldn't say it's an oil burner, but as it ages, it burns dirtier and dirtier for some reason. But I do a lot of crazy things with my machines, but at least I know how to fix them. I'm surprised I haven't broken a belt yet on this one. We were smoking a couple belts the other day. Nothing snapped yet. They are pretty simple. They're just time consuming to swap them out. Thank you everyone for sticking to the end of the video to watch the sharpening. I hope that process was interesting. I hope maybe I taught someone how to sharpen their own blades. Just be careful doing it, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.